Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Boy, this is a wonderful new year, and this is the first broadcast of 2016. We've got a jam-packed show. We've got everything from entrepreneurs to people changing the world to making that skincare resolution to look your best, as well as how to make and keep that resolution to lose weight. But we're going to get right into it with our first guest, Ashley Cook. She is the CEO and founder of ZOCCAM. Ashley, welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Now, you are an entrepreneur, and as a fellow entrepreneur, I admire risk takers. I really do. Tell everybody about ZOCCAM.
Well, Zakum is a application. It's a platform that we developed in order to deliver earnest money to the title company. So real estate agents today have to drive earnest money checks in the contract to the title company and make sure they get it there on time. And we took the driving part out and replaced it with a mobile app that uses the same technology that people use to make deposits via their smartphone into their bank account.
It seems so obvious. I mean, when you hear it for the first time, you think, wow, why didn't they come up with this, or why didn't somebody think of this years ago? How did you get the idea?
Well, I was watching a Domino's Pizza commercial, the black and white one with the phone ringing, and it said, why put your order in the old way? Put it in the new way, which was the internet, and a light bulb went off. And, hey, why are we having real estate agents drive around with checks?
Right? And
yeah.
For anyone who's ever closed on a house, you know that every action needs to be timed. And if one person misses their job, your closing can be delayed. And so this really revolutionizes the process, doesn't it?
Yes, we've had a great response from the real estate agents, and I look forward to this year because we're expanding the platform to go into some different areas. The termination option check, the buyer's funds that they have to bring to closing, really any piece of the transaction where money needs to be delivered, whether it be to the title company or to the seller. That's where we're headed. We are doing this to save time, to make the transaction more transparent so that everyone knows when something occurs, because when the contract's executed, that's a trigger point.
Right.
So then when the money is delivered to the title company, that's another step. So we are making it faster, better, and more secure.
That's awesome. I know one of the things that often happens with entrepreneurs is you get this great idea, but getting it to the market. Sometimes you're having to convince people that, yes, this is safe. This is something that you should be using. It makes all the sense in the world. What are some of the challenges that you faced so far?
Well, the first challenge was when we launched going to the banks and saying, hey, this is an acceptable use of mobile remote deposit capture for third-party use, right? So instead of having a consumer deposit a check into their account, we had to convince the banks that it was okay to have a third-party deposit funds into an escrow account. So the second hurdle is, of course, conveying this message to the real estate agents. People don't like to download apps, right? So educating the real estate agents as well as the title companies. Right now, the title industry has seen a huge shift where technology is welcomed as an opportunity. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which took over enforcement of RESPA, whereas HUD used to enforce. So CFPB is a bigger governmental body, and they are really looking for technology to make transactions faster and more secure. And so we feel like we have a great opportunity to fit that need.
My guest right now, Ashley Cook. She's an entrepreneur. She's the CEO and founder of ZOCCAM. It is it's an app that will change the real estate world. Let's talk about security. You mentioned it. What mechanisms are in place to make sure that hackers can't get in?
Absolutely. So the most important thing that everyone needs to recognize is that there's no financial information on the phone. So what we do is we use a series of mids and lids where when the real estate agent selects a title company in that location, the funds get deposited into that escrow account, but the escrow account information is not on the phone. The other thing is that the check is encrypted, from capture to delivery. So we use the same technology that the financial institutions use for their own applications. So that's very important. It's not the same thing as taking a picture on your cell phone,
Right.
where it's stored in the cell phone. Instead, it's encrypted and delivered to that financial institution.
You mentioned that first hurdle, trying to convince banks that this was a safe solution, this was an appropriate solution. How tough was that?
It was surprisingly not very difficult. I think that if you look at your typical case of mobile remote deposit capture, the consumer, if I write you a check, I'll write you a $2,000 check. You'll put that in your account. In the bank, the risk there is that the check is in SF and the account holder doesn't have the funds to cover that money. In our situation, we've got escrow accounts, and title companies are extremely regulated, right, by the Department of Insurance. So you're delivering money into an escrow account, and that money sits there for 30 days in most cases. So the risk to the bank is minimal. Second, we talk about, well, what if someone takes your cell phone? Okay, can they do something with the app? The answer is, who's going to write a check to Republic Title or Texas Premier Title and deposit that?
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
Good point.
So
how does your company make money?
So we make money. We charge an implementation fee to the title companies, and then it's a transaction-based fee. So started out with the realtors paying a transaction to deliver the earnest money, and we are launching a integration with a company called RamQuest at the end of February. Mm-hmm. And what that will do is it will send the earnest money, the contract, and open up the order. So it's pushing the metadata into the title company platform. And that will be another transaction-based fee that the title company can pay for or pass through to the consumer.
Have you found that the realtors and the title companies that have started using this, what's their reaction?
Wow, it's so easy.
Really?
That's the first thing. I think that, especially from a corporate standpoint, the title companies think there's going to be a lot of training that's necessary. And that's not the case, because the funds are delivered into the escrow account. Notifications are sent to all parties saying the money's been delivered. Here's how much. Here is who sent the money. Buyer, seller, property address.
So when you talk about moving into other areas of real estate transactions, do you see that this first having this first win in this arena will open those other doors?
Yes. We're really focusing on Texas right now. We've been talking with some national companies. Obviously, that's the goal for next year, is to be up and running on a national platform. But it's the same kind of mechanism. And the real challenge or need is to really get adoption by the real estate agent. So once they use the app, they go, wow, this is so easy. So that's what we're striving for.
It seems like your technology is one that would apply to many different industries. Attorneys are always sending and receiving important documents at the last minute. Can you see this being something that revolutionizes many industries?
Yeah, I do. We get comments at times that, oh, who has a checkbook? And I have a law firm as well, and we use checks. So when we're sending documents out, and we need to send documents out before the money comes in, that it makes a lot of sense in any vertical, really, to have a payment mechanism that does allow for mobile remote deposit capture for checks. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to do integrations and bring in Apple Pay or other types of payment platforms.
Right.
But starting out with Check 21, which is the most difficult to do,
sure,
puts us in a good position.
Well, I have to ask this question because I'm an entrepreneur. When you come up with an idea that is this big, are you kind of hoping that somebody comes along and says, Ashley, how much would it cost to buy this little idea?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. When we first launched, I got several phone calls, and people had asked, can we buy this company? And I said, absolutely not. And the reason being is I would not sell something without building it up and, bringing it to a full value, because partly having an idea is just having an idea, but putting a plan together and carrying it out to make it a reality is the real achievement. So I think we're in that building point right now, and we're enjoying the progression.
That's awesome. We've got about a minute left in this segment, and anytime I have children in the studio, Taylor, come on up to the mic with your mom. I think your mom is really cool. What would you like to say about your mom and how hard she works to get this idea off the ground?
Okay, wait. Let me tell her what to say. Hold
okay.
on. No, just kidding.
Are you proud of your mom, Taylor? Yes. She works real hard. I think she's a pretty cool mom. Thank you, Taylor. Okay, so how can people get a hold of you? How can they get a hold of this app?
Well, the app can be downloaded from from iTunes or Google Play, and our website is www.zoccam, ZOCCAM.com. And my name again is Ashley Cook, and I'll give out my email address, Ashley, ASHLEY, @zoccam.com.
Awesome.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Jeff,
you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Yes, this was great. All right, when we come back, a couple of gentlemen who are making a difference on this planet, half a world away. Their inspiring journey is just ahead on the Jeff Crilley Show.
More of the Jeff Crilley Show coming up.